Okay, we do have a quorum. Let's call the state to order at 9:10. Yeah, we do have a quorum.
we
Let's
on?
call it to order at 9:10. Are we on? Okay, let's start with the education. Pastor Crum, you have
Of course, what you did. We pray. Father, we're grateful for the city of DeSoto and many leaders that serve voluntarily. Father, we're grateful for our city staff. Father, we do pray that you protect our policemen and those first responders, our firemen. We're grateful for the way that you put our city together and the people that you've assembled. We pray that you would cause DeSoto to be an economically prosperous place to do business, raise your families, to educate your kids, Father. We pray you give us wisdom as we go forward and wisdom for this meeting. We ask this in Jesus' name.
Thank you, sir. The consent agenda items are listed on the consent agenda by the DEDC Chief Executive Officer and are recommended to the DEDC Board of Directors for a single vote of approval. Any item may be removed from the consent agenda for a separate vote at the request of the Board Director. Number A, consideration and approval of the April 22nd, 2019 Board meeting minutes. B is consideration and approval of the March 31st, 2019 income and expenses.
I move to approve this presented.
Move to approve. All those in favor say aye. Ayes have it. Move on to our next agenda item, which is C, which is the regular agenda, new business items for discussion and or possible action. See, the Mayor Pro Tem is not here this morning. So we'll skip down. Monty's not here either this morning. So we're gonna go right to you, Ms. Punch.
All right. Good morning.
Morning.
So as far as our member networking, we have our Good Morning DeSoto on June 4th at the Holiday Inn Express. These last few Good Morning DeSotos, it's been so packed they've had to bring extra chairs in, so it's working and more people are participating. We have they were upcoming ribbon cuttings, but all three of these is happening with Fubu Mobile, Ivy Place, CBD Lifestyles. We are planning a lot more ribbon cuttings. We have a whole lot of ribbon cuttings coming up here soon that we are excited about. One of them for sure is the new faux curry place that's in the incubator. We will be planning his ribbon cutting coming up. He's looking at June 4th, but we're talking about if he's gonna do a soft opening first to make sure everything is in place, considering he is hiring right now. So we are excited about that. The Small Business Workshop, we are planning what we call a summer series right now, and that will be starting off with Calvin Golden, who is the owner of the Wingstop in DeSoto, but he owns several other locations and several other businesses. And so we are planning that out as of right now and what that will look like. So we are very excited about that being a series that we bring out in the summertime. Of course, we still have benefits, working with them to get small businesses insurance. We can move on down, just moving to a community of this, continuing to promote things that are for our city, just like the classes and things that they have going on in the incubator we send out, as well as any vendor opportunities like the Crawfish Fest and anything that we're doing combined with any other entity. We try to make sure we send that out and support them. The tourism, we got everything over to the BSW Partnership magazine. So those graphics have been completed and everything has been sent out to them. The fundraiser, we have the Tuscany trip that has been set in place at this point. We're still working on, with our board, on packaging our sponsorship opportunities. We actually have a meeting with Methodist coming up for their major investment of the year to break that out of what that's gonna look like. Because we're coming up with some new ideas and some new ways, because we prefer people to buy in bundles, because then we have set sponsorships for different events rather than per event getting sponsors for it. Top Golf, we are excited about that. It is June 6th. We have had a great response to that. It is gonna be a lot of fun, something different. A lot of things that our members were asking for was something different. So we are excited about the Top Golf, and we are now accepting monthly payments. to the visits. We had quite a bit of visits this month, with Diab. I'll be working with Vanessa. We went to visit them, they let us know that they were extending, as well as Colors is about to hire within the next 60 days, and NFI is looking to hire. So we're looking at possibly doing a mini job fair, maybe in the Blue 100 rooms, especially since they all fall under logistics and warehouse. And doing one for them, since a lot of them are doing direct hires but could not participate in the job fair because at the time they didn't have those things in a row. So just something to offer them a benefit and an incentive to get more people employed in DeSoto. So we are looking at planning that right now. We're also planning, we reached out to about a football tournament being bought here. It will be over 6,000 people. And so we are working with that. And so right now I'm just working with my hotels to see what type of rates we could offer and what packages we can create, bringing that event here to DeSoto. So we are excited about that as well. As you can see here, you have a lot of ones that said PR. PR stands for prospective members. Out of all the PRs you see here, 9 of them have become members. So it will say member visit from here on out for these people because all of them have joined the chamber at this point. Does anyone have any questions?
We'd like to suggest that they contact the new company coming in. They called Vanessa the other day and they said they need to start off with immediately 15 people. And what's the name of it? Industrial supply place. Global Industries. And
Okay.
she has all the contact people for that. Within a year's time, they have to have about 60 workers. And the next year, I think 80. So
add them into the mini job fair. Okay.
So we could do probably put a mini job fair with them out.
That'd be perfect.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Any update on the CEO with Ron now being gone?
Right now, there's no activity. Renee is joining us in everything that we're doing right now. And, but,
Oh, right, yes.
she's just kind of falling into where he left off at this point. But, and final decisions, things like that have been made between our board, still working closely with the city right now until 60 days, I believe they were given. So after that, we'll kind of know what happens.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to you, Ms. Adams.
This is tab 4, page 57,
Tab 4, you said 57?
57.
Good morning, board.
Good morning.
Everybody there?
You got there?
All right. We'll go ahead and get started with the balance sheet as of April 30th, 2019. The checking and savings account for $3,113,113. Non-current assets are the revolving loans, which are $99,377. So the total assets are $3,212,490. Total liabilities and fund balance also account for $3,212,490. On page 58, you'll see the revenues and expenditures for the 7 months ending April 30th, 2019. Total revenues are $1,394,071. $1,134,545 of that is sales tax. For the expenditures, the total expenditures are $1,811,982. The majority of that being grants and commitments of $974,500, with a net income of negative $417,910. On page 59, there is a graph with the sales tax revenue. Currently, it's budgeted for $1,531,250, but currently the actual is $1,134,545. So currently, that's about 74% of the budgeted amount of sales tax currently. On page 60, is a summary of revenue and expenditures, broken down by, month-to-date and year-to-date. For the month-to-date of April, total revenues are $192,022. Sales tax being $163,140 of that. Total expenditures are $368,771. Grants and commitments being $287,000 of that, with a net income of negative $176,748. On page 61, there's a graph with the revenues and expenses. Currently, year-to-date, revenue of $1,394,073 and expenses of $1,811,982 with a negative net income of $417,909.
The chart, we're at tab 4, page 62 now.
62, thank you, sir.
What's dragging that net income? With that negative net income?
We paid a lot of the, we've already paid, let's see, the majority of the long-term debt payments, and then also, the grants and commitments.
Mhm.
Let's see, which page so far. Grants and commitments already are at $974,500, so that's the majority of your expenses.
Okay.
Yeah, that's page 63.
63, okay. All right, thanks.
Mhm.
And then we'll catch up. It'll wash out.
Yeah, that's what
in the
most,
cycle.
And then your sales tax also, because you're 2 months
'Cause it's
behind, so the sales tax
so
will
then that'll
catch
come
up.
up.
Yeah.
So once,
All right, I got it.
once
I
September
just always
comes.
see it negatively, so.
Yeah, so that's what that is.
All right, thank you.
So let's see, so page 62 and 63 are just details of your year-to-date numbers. Do you have any questions on those? Any
So that's where you
details?
see the sales tax at, that variance, because look at the budgeted versus what has already come in, so that'll catch up.
Yes, your sales
Right.
tax should catch up.
Okay.
And you won't see that, you know, when the year end gets here, you'll still have 2 more months to come in after that. In October and November, you'll get the August and September payment.
Gotcha.
So we'll
Okay.
accrue that into your year-to-date figures. And then page 64 is another graph with your summary of expenses year-to-date. Currently, promotions are 4.45% at $80,637. Operating and admin is 15.66% at $283,794. Personnel is at 11.5% with $200,257. Grants and commitments are at 53.78% with $974,500. And long-term debt is at 14.99% with $271,588.
So let me ask you a question. When we have had our placements in magazines, that falls in promotion, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Let's see, does the website fall under promotion also?
The website is, yes, the internet website is in that promotion line, so you'll see that in 65, on page 65, that's all your, expenditures that are promotion. And then the next group of expenditures are supplies, and then, the next grouping is operating and administration, and then your personnel is the next grouping. And then grant and commitments are the next grouping, and then that totals your expenditures.
Got it.
And then the last graph just represents your budgeted expenses. Promotions are at 61.34% of the budgeted, of your budget. Supplies are at 17.23%. Operate and administration is at 55.56%. Personnel is at 59.66%. Grants and commitments are at 42.48%. And your long-term debt is at 89.36%. So the only other thing you have for the long term is the interest payments that'll be due in August, and then that'll be complete.
Yes, I understand on this, non receivable, current amount,
You are current, well, you know the two that you aren't, on the top five in the Saul and, Brenda Forcasitas. So with everything else is okay.
We need to figure out,
We need to do something.
we need to do something with the $40,000, because, I mentioned it to our auditor about all
They were
this.
supposed to write that off.
Yeah.
But it won't be till this year. When we do this year's audit, you'll,
That'll come
actually,
out.
you guys will have to.
When is
The audit will be,
The preliminary audit starts the third week in August. The auditors will be here too.
Third
Third week.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll probably bring something to you then, for you guys to vote on and decide if you wanna totally write that off, and then we'll do a journal entry for that for this, fiscal year.
Is the top line completed right off, or Joe, is there any?
Oh, I don't know.
questions at all?
I don't know about that, but we're looking into it right now.
One more question, I think I've been misinterpreting the pie chart, so.
Which page?
I'm sorry, I'm on page 67. So these percentages don't represent, obviously they don't represent the share of the pie.
No, they
Um,
represent the total
they
of your,
repre-
the percentage of your budget.
Of the budget,
budget
okay,
you
got
got.
it, correct.
I think the one
I'm
on,
looking at it too.
the one on 64 actually represents the 100% of
Ah,
the
got it, got it,
expenses.
got it.
So you'll get the 100% on that graph, but the
Yeah.
other one is just the budget amount.
Cause I had a question on, 64 then, and you may not remember this, but we can find out later. How do we end the 2018 fiscal year in terms of what did, grants and commitments make up the largest share of the pie?
I have to let you know.
Okay.
I have to let you know what
I can tell you
It's
that
probably the
they did,
They
because,
did,
yeah,
okay.
because even though they're still listed in here, and they will be listed on the, but they'll be, the ones we paid off, will be, I'll bring all that up at the budget part of it. But if you look on page 63, it shows all the different grants that we've done, everything from Eagle, Hotel, Centus, the biggest one that we just recently tapped, the potential incentive grants. That's the one that we, things that we didn't have budgeted the first part of the year, but we leave that $800,000 in there in case something comes up. Might be concrete for the trucking company, and there's one other one that but it doesn't show up yet. That one will show up probably next month, so, with the potential incentive grant. We've got the Coles, that one, that's a reimbursement of a portion of the sales tax that they generate. Solar turbines, I think was paid off. White Floss, this was their last payment. JT's Financial, that was their last payment, which is the soup, contractor company. Global Prime is the one we just recently paid for $125,000. That was a $200,000 grant plus $125,000 dark work on a skilled nursing facility. So that's country. And there's
That's the 37,000.
Yeah, that's the 37,000 that I just mentioned. I remember it being on it.
Okay.
So that's kind of how that worked, but that was taken out of the unbudgeted, it was an unbudgeted expense at first. We did that up there.
where do we stand with that, funding that sewer valve compressor?
They haven't come back and asked us for money yet, of course, we're last in, until they get their funding. As you mentioned last meeting, they have a, election coming up.
That's fast.
Or is that, it passed? Okay.
It passed.
Okay, so I don't know where we are.
And that's a good point, cause I was under the impression that was gonna be part of, spent from last year's budget, right? is that like 50K?
Yes, it was,
Oh,
yes.
Oh,
it
they
was.
said it was
was.
this year.
But it was
It was
50K,
for this year.
right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was this
Well,
year.
Yeah.
Our year starts in October, see?
Yeah, so it was like January, February, so it's still in this current
When
fiscal
we
year.
come back, I wanna get into that discussion, because they passed a $1.1 billion bond, the $325 million or 322 is going to services, train people for, you know, they came to us because they had a air conditioning.
That is,
If they got that kind of money for that kind of training across the system, then we need to rethink that, that $50,000. Because $1.1 billion is a lot of money across that system. And they had 3 categories out there where it was going.
I talked to the lady who was here last week,
Yeah.
and she referenced that 1.1 billion referendum passed, so I think there have probably been some changes.
Okay.
Well, Joe, you might want to reach out to her to see where they are.
But I just, that kind of, if they went too far, that's the way. Now all the taxpayers are paying for it, so, and that was an industry issue. It wasn't.
Right.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next item is the industry hub. Ms. Tony?
It's tab 5, page 68, board.
You may begin hearing some complaints in the next couple months. We're getting ready to evaluate leases, whether we're gonna renew or not renew different companies. That goes in front of a committee, not me. I didn't want that decision. I don't want anybody yelling at me, only me. But what we're doing is, as we evaluate, we're really looking at what are their sales numbers. You know, we have a couple who their sales numbers are really low, but they're kind of tenacious, wanting to stay on. And so what I'm trying to do with them is walk them through the process. If you're really not making it, if every month you're just covering rent, what are you doing? You've been a year here. And so what's your plan? How are you gonna increase revenue? And, you know, so trying to get them to work more with me. Aisha Meeks, who runs the Pitt Fitness Center, in January, with the government shutdown, she lost all of her federal contracts. And that was her lifeblood for her company. So now she's meeting with me every Tuesday at 10 o'clock, and we're going through different sales strategies. What could she be doing? And she, as we talk, she's taking those strategies and implementing them. So it's like the homework for this week. And she's already seeing increased sales. So it's working if they just work with me and come in. And, you know, Monty said something to me the other day that really upset me. And he said, people don't like to be told what to do. I'm not telling anybody what to do. I'm giving you options. I'm giving you ideas. And the fact that he would come back and say that to me was like, where does that come from? Because these are all adults, you know, I don't need to tell them what to do, but I'm coming from a different headset than they are, so I see different opportunities that they may not see. And whether they implement them or not, that's totally in their discretion to do that. And so what I'm trying to do is create a more positive environment with the tenants and get them to understand there are options. You see the world in a very focused, very narrow framework, and I don't see it that way. I see it in a bigger framework. And so trying to work with them and get them into that new headset. The other thing that we're still facing is the number of tenants who are not open when they agree to be open. So that will be one of the criteria that we look at in renewing their lease. Are they abiding by the terms of their lease? And so it comes back to the committee. We're giving each of them an opportunity to come in and meet with us. And, you know, we get their evaluation, what's been their experience, what do they see going forward. So we're trying to give them every opportunity that if they're not making it, to present the next step. What is it they're gonna be doing?
So, income statements, terms of lease, that's the scorecard.
business plan, marketing plan, financial plan. You know, we're looking at everything. And then whether they're actually, you know, are open to working with me. And the ones who are not, then I'm gonna step out of that part of the conversation because I don't want it to be personality driven. It needs to be, you know, very cut and dry. Are they making their sales numbers? Are they paying their monthly rent on time? You know, what are the real business criteria decisions? And so, but the ones that we decide not to renew, I'm sure they're gonna come back and complain, but I just want you to know what our headset is as we move forward. And then, we do have some really fun, exciting things happening. I'm in the process right now of signing an MOU with the school district. The streaming media education program that we're developing, we're gonna use the media lab at the high school, and then by doing that, we're gonna create internships for them. We're working with them in their curriculum development so that we can create opportunities for the kids to actually come in and work with us as we're creating this streaming media platform. So it'll give them real work experience. And also, if we can identify some real talent, like we're looking in animation, how do we make the learning more fun? But appealing to small business owners. Everything that we're creating is designed specifically for small businesses. We also are creating an entrepreneurship program that'll happen over the summer, and this is for teens. There'll be 2 cohorts from 9 to 12 and 13 to 17. And we're looking at 20 kids total in the program. And we're doing that in conjunction with the schools, the library, and SBA. So we're working through all of those entities. And then if there are other groups who would like to be involved, we would love to open up the door and, you know, extend an invitation for them to participate. The chamber may want to participate. You know, there's just lots of partners we'd like to bring into that to create an opportunity for young people to really understand what happens in entrepreneurship. We had an incident at the incubator where one of the tenants, their kids set up a lemonade stand, and we had to shut it down. It's like, no, this is a commercial building. If they're gonna sell food, they have to subscribe to all the rules that everybody in a commercial building has to subscribe to. They have to have their food handler's license, all of that. And so what we want to do is walk these kids through the whole process. So it's a 6-week or a 6-session program, and we're trying to decide if we're going to do 2 sessions a day and then have a pitch contest at the end. And so we're still really working through the structure of how we'll do that, but I think it's exciting. I think it'll be fun. It'll be fun for the kids to be involved in that. And the fact that the school is so ready and they really want to be involved. And SBA is looking to see which parts they'll actually present. And so it's an education program for them, and then we'll see how we make that work.
I would want to have, as someone who's been on the school board, just remind us that the incubator is supported by city by taxes.
Right.
So we have other schools in our city that we can work with besides DeSoto.
Right, okay. We're open to, you know, whoever would like to participate. When the invitation goes out, it'll go out to everybody who wants to, you know, any of the kids who want to participate.
To me, you have some idea of how many we're probably gonna lose businesses or just based on your observations and what you've seen? Do you have a ballpark, and do you have businesses already lined up to come behind you?
Yeah, we have about 30 applications waiting.
Okay.
And we're also doing a pitch contest June 22nd. We have, I think there are 4 that are very strong contenders to not make it.
Okay.
One has already notified us, Alwyn is going to a new space, so that's 2. I think there'll be 2 or 3 more. I think the rest will try and hang on. The soul food sauce people, it's really the wrong environment for them to be in. They really need to be in a distribution network, not in a retail space. And so they may decide not to renew when theirs comes up, but I don't know that yet.
Last year, we were taking about anyone that wanted to apply for
Sure.
fill up the incubator, but we have so many people waiting in line to get in there now. It's not
You
gonna be
could be
hard
more
to get.
selective, yeah.
Yeah, we have 2 new restaurants coming in. We have the Asian restaurant coming in, June first. And then we have an Italian restaurant coming in, mid-June. And then, the, OBC Cafe, or Labus Cafe, she just never got it. She never really opened. And so she wants out of her lease, but that's a good thing for her to realize early on that this is just not her cup of tea. And then, but we already have several, that we're interviewing to go into that space. So I don't really see that we're gonna have a long lag time. The problem that we've run into is most of the companies who come in and they want those smaller spaces, the $350 a month space. And so we may have 3 of those opening up, so that will be a good thing. That'll open up. Shoe-esque is deciding if they're gonna renew or not. And we had a good discussion with them, and really it's up to them. I really feel that the market here is not their market. And so it's not they thanked us for the opportunity to be in the incubator, but they are looking at other space. But we also have 2 other shoe companies that have presented and want to be in that space, so I don't think that we're gonna have a problem filling them, yeah.
And, 1 year is when, or 1 year anniversary?
They're staggered.
Well, for the
For the whole thing,
incubator.
for the incubator itself, when did it open, last what?
Well, ours started like in January, but I mean, we've been paying, we paid rent on the building. All those people sublet from us, we were the main leasehold. And ours started in January, we paid months when it was set completely empty, so we paid a long time. for it to sit empty.
And when do we get our
Well,
return?
We have a
We
5-year
see.
lease and with a 5-year option to renew. And, it was breaking even, last month before the board decided to add another $4,000 a month in marketing to help the merchants. That is not working even anymore, so, but it's not losing a lot. It was losing a lot.
But with that $4,000 ad.
Yeah, that $4,000 ad in marketing is what, we were breaking even, making just a tiny bit, and then we did that, and we're no longer breaking even.
Yeah, but if we get those restaurants in, that should bring it pretty
Bring it
close
back
to,
to
pretty close to
break
breaking.
even.
Yeah, those are $1,700, $1,800 a month, so.
Now, we do have some fun things going on. We have a DJ workshop, and this is specifically targeted at teenagers, to teach them how to be DJs and, the whole music industry. We're limiting that to 15. It is free to whoever signs up for it, but we're just trying to make just different kinds of things. The kinds of events that we've had that have been successful are we just had the Mother's Day event, our Easter, Saturday before Easter was, we had a good crowd for that. They're still not coming in, but we're still trying to figure out how to advertise to the people that are coming to the food trucks outside and get them to come into the building. So I just purchased 2 of those realtor boxes that have the literature sheets in, and we'll put it at both ends.
There was a huge line Saturday.
Yeah, there's
Huge
so
line.
much traffic.
Yeah, and so
Which
what
one
we've
for the
done
truck?
is,
That's the one truck on the end.
Shell
Yeah.
tail.
No, what's gonna happen to him, he's talking about going to that building.
right,
Will he come off the strip?
yes, yeah, we'll go into it.
Can we put them in the back? It just seems like we should have put the restaurants in the back. So we can go
Yeah.
through,
Yeah,
like the
they're all
grocery
the-
store, they put
yeah.
the bread and the essentials all the way in the back so you can maneuver through everything else. But nonetheless, I'm sure that's not, that's not possible.
Lesson
No,
learned,
we
right?
can get it
Right.
in the back.
Now the training programs are Tuesday and Thursday mornings. Tuesday, we're doing legal, Thursday, we're doing customer service. I'm developing 3 new marketing classes. One's on branding, one's on nimble marketing. And nimble marketing brings in more of the time element, because that's what, all of our businesses act like they have forever to make a decision. It's like, you're already late. I don't know how to tell you that. I don't know why you're not listening. And, cause they should, right now, they should be working on what's gonna be happening in December, and they haven't even figured out what's gonna happen on the 4th of July. It's like, you know, that urgency, they're just not getting it.
Yeah.
And, so I keep pushing them on that. But again, I want them to take the responsibility of that, because if they don't, they're not gonna learn how to do it. And so, although I'm pushing them, but they have to do it. And that's part of their learning, is understanding when it's late, it's late. You've already missed huge opportunities. I'm working, then on the public relations part, we got, James did an interview on NBC about his restaurant. That should be airing any day now.
Vegan restaurant.
And, Tiger House Hats is gonna be in the June issue, a feature on her. Let's see,
June
Yeah.
issue of.
D Magazine. Let's see, then,
Oh, I see.
we're also working with, Aisha Meeks Pit Fitness. She's doing a health fair in August, so we're trying to build up and get publicity on her for that. And that will, generate new opportunities for her. And then, social media's in there, we're up to over 1,300 on our Instagram. And then, you have just the week, May 2nd to the 8th, so you can see that, we're continuing to increase our reach, through social media. If you have any other questions, I'm glad to answer them.
You're doing a good job. I've been over there a couple times. Just keep working with it. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, down to number 6, the total work job fair, spring 2019, Joe. That's on you.
The job fair, if you remember, we had some really bad weather that day, so that probably hurt our attendance a little bit. Anyway, we were expecting really bad weather, it turned out not that bad. But on page 75, under tab 6, you can kind of see the breakdown of who we had by gender, by employment. It was almost equal unemployment and employee. Vanessa would be here doing this if she's at a conference, so that's, I'm very sure not doing. She usually handles job fair things. And then the page 76, we talked about the enrollment, education level, number of employees by city. Dallas had more people than we did, the city of Dallas.
How do we collect this data? Surveyors?
Texas Workforce Commission. When we register,
Registration form. So
we
you
do
register
surveys at the
form.
beginning,
Oh, okay.
and then all that information, they
Okay.
submit that data through there.
Anyway, that's just a brief update. We'll do another big one for logistics warehousing in the fall. We do 2 of these a year. I think our budget's $7,500 for promotion for the 2 of them. And,
Do we know if anybody got jobs? Do we collect?
how many actually received jobs?
TWC is supposed to let us know through email this week, because that's what they normally call the employers to find out. So
Yeah.
they'll let us know this week how many people got jobs. We know that, spoke of a few that actually got jobs on site.
Okay.
And so we're hoping that we get more data from TWC as far as those who actually got jobs after that and interviews after that.
Okay.
So, and it was the highest we've ever had as far as people pre-registering. We had over 800. I think if the weather wouldn't have turned into what it turned into, it would have been a huge turnout. But with schools getting out early, things like that, because of that, it really took an effect.
What was the
And we
turnover?
changed the day, right, or the time of day.
We changed the time, and it
So-
actually ended up being more registered because of the time
Because
change.
of the time
So
change.
we've never, I think they had it at like about 550, about the norm. But this year, we had to open it up on the Eventbrite. We had to expand it to 800, over 800, because we had that many people registered to be there. So we were really excited, but again, the weather kind of,
Do we know what the actual attendance was?
I believe it was 200.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments?
Be interested in knowing. Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to know exactly how many people I know that some are office jobs, right there on the spot, but that would probably be you could do background checks.
Were most of the employers, are these more like your low-end wages, Joe, or, so we're kind of looking at the bonus side of it, I mean,
It was a great mix. At this one was a really good mix.
good deal.
It was too late, but we're on board for future
Degrees
participation.
look really low in comparison to the high school diploma equivalent to,
Oh, I see.
I don't know, this is more low-end, like warehouse job.
Of course, we open it up for communities around us too, it's not just DeSoto resident, not just DeSoto County, so there's what, 50, 60?
We got 50 companies that actually showed up, and it was a variety of jobs, actually. The one in the fall is the one where we focus more logistics and warehouse. It's very targeted with that one. But with this one, it was a really good mix of different type of employers. But same thing with the weather, it affected employers as well. With some of them having to leave because the kids full clothes, so they gotta go get their kids. So it kind of affected both sides.
Okay. All right, any other questions? Okay, thanks, Joe. Joe, we're with you again on another site.
Page,
So tell us about
tab
this.
7, page 77. Director, this is, I did this every year, we, do a budget explanation, and if you, when I presented this to the city council at our budget workshop, one of the council members mentioned that they really liked the way I numbered everything, numbered every one of the items, and then over on page 79 and 80, explained every one of those tabs, so that they don't have to say, well, you know, what's this, you know, global prime health, you know, we flip over the page and look at page number 48 and explain who they are, page 81 of it. Anyway, that really cut down on a lot of the questions they would ask us about line items, and they seem to like it, so I've followed the same format. I think that, and I'll tell you where I got some of the numbers. First of all, Melissa helped me with some of the things in here, especially with fund balance, our estimated fund balance at the end of the year, what are we gonna bring forward? And then the HR department, they give me all the numbers based on anticipating if the council, you know, does the 2% cost of living, those kind of things, what insurance might happen. Of course, I don't know those things. I don't know if, you know, if we're on the same pay schedule or not, but on the same schedule the city is as far as insurance and taxes and all those things. So I got those numbers straight from HR, so those are not my numbers. Just wanted to let you know. And one thing that's probably going to change is sales tax revenue. I think I estimated too high. I think I estimated a high this year. I think that may go down a couple $1,000 when we get down. When the city finalizes their budget and they look at how much they anticipate the sales tax bringing in, then I will adjust that number to match theirs, because they get all the sales tax, the entire 2%. They keep 1.5%, 1/8 of 1% goes to the Parks Department, 3/8 of 1% comes to the EDC. So that, I just want you to know that number will probably.
Is it the 2.8 that you're talking about?
Yeah, the number 2 sales tax, I just put Joe's best guesstimate at $2,625,000.
2.6?
And so that one will probably come down a couple $1,000s. Oh, I mean, not, you know.
And my apologies if you've already said this, Joe, but how should I reconcile the three? So adopted.
Oh, okay. So that adopted, that what was adopted last year by the board and by the city council.
Okay.
Our budget has to go, the city council has to okay our budget, so I present to them like other departments do. The only difference between Economic Development Corporation and other department heads, well, there's a lot of different, but the main one is, say you're running the water and wastewater, you have a budget. At the end of the year, if there's any money left over, it doesn't roll back and accumulate, whereas the EDC it does.
Okay.
We keep our money in our fund balance, and we can leverage it.
You don't lose it if you don't.
No, you don't lose it. Yeah, and that's, I've worked for a government agency, and right at the end of the year, everybody just, oh, when that's my budget, better spend it or I won't get it next year.
Right.
And so that's not the case.
Got it.
If we don't spend it, it's not a big deal.
Okay.
We get to hold on to it. Although there's legislation every few years to do away with that. In fact, I testified on a bill just the other day, there was 6 weeks ago. And a state representative said, you know, UEDCs, we get this report from the state controller's office, and it says that y'all have $1.2 billion in reserves. I think that should revert back to the city. And said, well, the problem, they need another column in that thing that we fill out that's in the controller's office to show how much debt we have. I mean, some of these, in fact, the lady sat next to me in the testimony at the House, she said, we have $16 million in revenue on fund balance. We're fixing to spend $9 million of that on infrastructure and industrial parks. So that's the kind of things that they don't look at, they don't realize. That's the reason we have fund balance. If we decide to buy some land, or we decide to, we have debt. We still own the heliport, we own some infrastructure debt in the industrial park. So that's kind of it. The other things, you can see what was budgeted last year, and then what I think the end of the year, end of September is gonna be, and that's just, that middle column says Joe's best guesstimate, that's exactly what it is. I have no magic formula. I look at the previous, and then what I suggest the far right column is what I'm suggesting the budget be, but you're welcome to change anything or everything. That's entirely up to y'all. But the short answer is the city really needs these numbers as soon as possible. Their deadline for all the other departments is today. So that's, you only had over the weekend, look at this, if you did, but I don't see anything real major in here. Some of our grant commitments are paying out, so you see 0 in that column, but I want you to know that those are paying off. So that's going to help us. Project Maverick, I don't think it's going to be anything going to come out of there, which is global industry. That $100,000 will come in next fiscal year, so it's nothing in this year. And it's nothing in by the end of this year.
Joe, did you, line 10, did you do the same as you did last year?
Yeah, this is.
So you're carrying 10 over with Ms. Toomey, you're.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, yes, I left Ms. Toomey in there. I also went ahead and that was one of the bigger increases because we really haven't spent very much on marketing overall. By state law, we're actually allowed to spend 10% of our revenues, our sales tax revenue. So we don't spend anywhere like that, but I did raise it from $40,000 we budgeted. You see line 13, which was budgeted last year. We're going to be over budget on that because of a couple of things. We're going to be over there, and we're going to be over on our website. We only budgeted $27,000 because the previous year I thought we were going to get further along on the half of our $50,000 website cost in last fiscal year, but it didn't happen. So that's the reason we only budgeted $27,000 this fiscal year, but it's actually going to be $50,000 because the website didn't get started last summer like I thought it was going to do. In fact, it'll be rolling out the next couple of weeks.
So on your explanation page, on number 6, is that consistent with the city?
Number 6?
Yep.
Yes, that number, I got that from HR. That's not my number. In fact, all the employee benefits, TMRS, insurance, payroll taxes, those are all their numbers. And then, like I said, the advertising, we budgeted $40,000 last year because we increased the incubator for part of it and some other things we did. I'm increasing that to 75, but like I said, that's way under what we could be budgeted. Nothing unusual. I went ahead and put the project doctor back in there. That one seems to be moving forward again. That's the doctor's office building down here. That's taking that number 54. And of course I put global industries, which is 53A. I didn't want to have to renumber everything, so I just put as A, those same. And Oh, so your drive, remember that was budgeted in last year's budget, and they didn't get their paperwork into us until this year. So that $250,000 on number 52, came out of the $800,000 that we budgeted after number 43. I'm leaving that 800,000 gives us a little cushion and gives us some things will come up during the year that we didn't know about. And one of them we're gonna talk about in executive session, that will probably take some of that money. But right today, I can't budget for it, I really don't know.
You talk about 43.
Sorry, yeah, 43 is potential incentive grants.
Yeah.
And I foresee.
Yeah.
So commitments of some kind. If we don't use it, it's no big deal. So you can see that I think we're gonna spend about $450,000 by the end of September. Out of that 800,000, 250 of that is the Euro Drive, and then you've got the little $37,000 I did for the concrete for the trucking company. I have to go back and look and see what all that is coming up that we didn't anticipate. Other than that, there's a few things that I could take out. I don't like 56. It's only $2,500. I don't know what that was, but it was in there before I came here. I left it in. We anticipated. If you remember last year's budget, y'all amended. Y'all put in a bunch of extra money for possible legal actions. That didn't happen, and so we didn't use that money. That was 26A. Y'all added that money in there. Nothing was used. I'm not budgeting anything next year. Hopefully, you know what I'm talking about.
The only question I had on the front page, was 17, line 17.
17, the internet, okay, so.
That's reduced quite a bit. I wonder if even short of 10,000 is good enough for.
Well, that's just updates. I mean,
That's not actually,
Yeah.
that's not the maintenance of the internet or.
Yeah, that's a little maintenance, I asked Vanessa, I said, what do you think? I was gonna budget like $5,000 just for a little maintenance. She said, you may have to put 10,000. I said, let's make it 9,000.
Okay.
So that's how I came up, it's just.
It's always so expensive. I'm always amazed how expensive it is.
Oh, yeah.
We wanna make sure we have.
Well, it's like I said, that website is costing $50,000.
Right,
We
right.
budgeted 27, but we had 25 budgeted last year, so we didn't get to use the money last year. So that's the reason that's gonna be over budget this year. That's just like I told you that the advertising will be over budget. And that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Gentlemen, I would, on line 56, I kind of think that's related to a student, but I mean, you might want to chase that down, but I think that was related to a student.
That $2,500 you're talking
Yeah.
about? Like I said, I didn't know what it was there for, and so I just left it, same way with the 15,000 on 59, I didn't know that was in there before I came here. Y'all were welcome, same 58, 59 both. We could, I'm showing we're not spending any of that money. If you want to take it out, that's fine, but, if you need it.
Yeah, I mean, let's maybe allocate it or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take it out.
I don't want to carry it. Yeah, that's why I want to see what it is.
Yeah,
56 really is.
It's 60, but, the expansion retention project, I'm not sure what that was. It was in there before I came here, and so I left it. But if you want to take it out, that'll save us quite a bit of money right there. It's, number 60, you want to take it out also?
Well, the bills, we don't know what they are, right?
They
We're
are.
not-
Yeah.
we're not
I don't,
spending the money.
I don't,
Spending the money.
yeah, obviously somebody in the past wanted it in there, so I left it, but I.
Well, we put the 2,500 in there, you know.
Okay, so we're gonna take out 58, 59, and 60, right?
Yes.
Okay, go there.
60.
That's fine.
But we do know we know what 61 is, all right?
Yeah, 61's a job fair.
That's the job.
Okay,
And that's just for a little advertising, really, the printing brochures shouldn't, it's
I
not.
think we all agree to take out 56 to 60.
Okay, no problem.
And what's 63?
We don't know that.
Yeah, we don't know what for. It's just, I'm not spending it.
for.
Yeah, we may have spent some money in that category and we pulled it from somewhere else.
We come back.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
So 63, I'm just reading your comment. It says, I believe this is interest on the bonds for.
Okay, Here's our bond debt schedule, and it changes your, see if I got it all. Look it over, you can kind of see where we are and when these pay off.
You got it.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah,
But
that's all the
what
bonds
they do.
and how it, it eventually pays off, and unless we do something else. But those numbers are actually off of those, that the
Off of this.
city provides us to make those bond payments.
Yeah, there's nothing here that causes me heartburn. Yeah,
Other
other
than take
than
these
the
items
things
out, we
that
don't know,
need to
yeah.
take out, yeah.
Yeah, I have no more than one question on that. We need to actually get that, so.
Yeah, we do need to take that.
Unless someone give me a motion, and I can take.
With the changes.
With those, yeah, with those changes. Pete, I can craft that motion, is that fine?
Motion to approve the budget with the two changes, item 59 and 60.
And 60, let's see, 58, 59, and 60.
56.
56. Oh, I'm sorry.
58, 59, 60.
Okay, so four items, right? Okay. Yeah, project legal is what we did. Okay. I don't know what project legal was, but that's, okay.
We're spending money.
Yeah, there you go.
Take it out.
Save the taxpayers.
That's right. We didn't spend any money.
47,500 back.
That quick. Good spot.
Okay. Is there a motion, I'm sorry?
Is there a motion for it?
Make a motion, somebody.
Go ahead, Michelle,
I
that's the number.
make a motion to remove line items 56, 58, 59, and 60 from the budget.
And approve the budget.
And approve the budget, yes, that's the main thing, and approve the budget.
Motion on the floor to change the claim director.
Second.
Jordan, second by Director Waddle. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, motion approved. Thank you, Joe. Hey, Joe, thank you for this nice job of explaining.
Oh, yeah, this
That's
is
really
really
a nice
helpful.
job.
Yeah,
Thank you
really.
very much.
Board like, I used to do that previous job.
Yeah, it's really safe.
It does.
Really good. Okay, we now have Madam Mayor in the house.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us.
Mayor, we've got you back up here and we go back up to,
Yeah, we go up to number one. We do not have one of the liaisons here to give us an update, so would you like to
Well-
do that for us?
And I'm sorry, I thought the Mayor Pro Tem would be here this morning. Basically, what I'm going to let you know is that we had an election. And, no, that's fine. And tomorrow, the council members, newly elected and re-elected mayor will be sworn in, with the exception of place 5. And Reverend Byrd, Andre Byrd, will be sworn in, Reverend Andre Byrd will be sworn in place 4. Place 5 is runoff. And so that will be on June 8th. June 8th, and so I just want our citizens to be aware that we are moving forward. And in addition to that, we appointed Renee Johnson as the interim city manager. And Renee has already hit the ground running, doing a great job. I know she's been meeting with you, Mr. President, and so the one thing I want to say is that you all know there's a special place in my heart for economic development, for this board, where I served. And I just want to applaud you for the work that you're doing. And just urge you to continue and to know that, I just want you to know that we will continue as far as the city of DeSoto, the mayor's office and all of us will work closely. That is our pledge. We want to work closely together, and we can always do better. And we want to do a better job of that, so that there will be no gaps in what you're doing and what we know that you're doing and what's happening on our side. So we look forward to that. I know we have some major projects coming down the pipe, and we'll be hearing more about those. But that's basically all I wanted to add, is just say thank you
But what you don't want to thank Mayor Pro Tem Rachel Pryor for serving as council liaison. And, I know she probably has some big plans as she would be moving off the council, and we'll just be lifting her in prayer, her and her family. And please keep our city lifted in prayer as we all work together to move forward. That's all I have.
When is the council picking another mayor pro tem?
We will do that tomorrow night.
Okay. And the reception at 6:30
The
tomorrow?
reception is at 6:30.
And coming, outgoing, and everything?
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty quick. We have, of course, we have an executive session prior to that. So we plan to be timely, and that executive session starts at 5. But the, reception is at 6:30. We have, we're doing our regular work session at 6, reception at 6:30, and council meeting at 7. So we will elect the mayor pro tem tomorrow night. That is our plan.
Renee, was she the assistant? See, I'm trying to put
Oh,
her face.
Renee Johnson was the director of Parks and Recreation.
Got it, that's not what I was thinking
Yeah,
about. Okay.
and she has appointed, I know she sent out an announcement, Eisen Cameron will be, interim deputy. Yeah, interim deputy. And of course, our other deputy that's continuing over there is Letitia Shelton. So anyway, but as I said, we're moving forward. And there, we're doing succession planning. We will be doing a search for a prominent city manager. So, yeah, nothing has stopped. Nothing has stopped. Any other questions? I'm sorry.
That's it.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
We've been communicating well.
We have.
With Renee. Renee's communicating.
Yes, she is.
As a matter of fact, she's gonna join us here in a minute. I think her and her assistant deputy for the, our executive session. So I just text me, we're about ready. So we're about ready to go into the executive session, guys. Anything else, Mr. Mayor? Come on in, you wanna take a 5-minute break? or
Yeah.
anything? Yeah, let's take a 5-minute break.
Let's go ahead, wait, let's go ahead and
Just
read
read
it.
Okay, I guess I'll be reading that.
Oh.
Okay, we're in number D, letter D, executive session under Texas Government Code. Texas Government Code, section 551.087, economic development deliberation. Deliberation and discussion regarding the economic development incentives for project office buildings. Number 2, deliberation and discussion regarding the economic development incentives for project housewares. Number 3, deliberation and discussion regarding the economic development incentives for project journey. Now, do you want the time now?
Yeah,
We're just gonna
well,
come back.
Yeah, we'll note the time when we start.
Okay, all right. We'll take a 5 minutes. Okay. Thank you, guys. We are reconvening out of executive session at 11:14. Do we have any action?
Mr. President, I'd like to make the motion to authorize the DEDC CEO to negotiate and execute an incentive agreement with Barclay to provide an incentive in the amount of $101,145 for water and wastewater infrastructure to be paid upon completion of one shell professional office building containing approximately 3,000 square feet located at 530 East Pleasant Run Road, DeSoto.
Have a motion, is there a second? Second. Second by Director Wall. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, motion passed. Thank you, sir. Briefing by our Chief Executive Officer, Joe Newman.
Thanks, Jeff.
I'll keep this short and sweet, and y'all can get to lunch and whatever. This is just, what's happened since the last, month we've met. We, met with Dr. Richardson quite a bit before he left, and Tracy, Lewenka left, to go to, other opportunities. Did meet with Fuzzy's Taco owner. That there's a lot of controversy about that, or not, well, people talking about how long it's taken, why it's taken so long. It was an eye opener for me. He said one of the places he messed up, he got it was either an architect or engineer out of Colorado, and said that, that was kind of one of his problems, and it just logistically everything slowed down, but, as of week before last, he was waiting on Encore to connect his electricity to his temporary pole, and he's gonna get started. One of the things that's on the council agenda tomorrow night, I think it's under consent agenda, is to change their contract. The city offered some incentives for Fuzzy's Taco. EDC wasn't involved in it other than Dr. Richardson turned contact information, everything over to me right before he left. And I sat down with him and he said he's ready to get started, but the date on the contract says he had to be open by the end of August, and that's not gonna happen, so he wants to change the date to the end of December of this year. So that's the only change in the contract, but that is gonna be on the council agenda tomorrow. We've been bringing Renee Johnson, interim city manager, into our meetings and different, as we discuss different projects and opportunities, keeping her up to speed on, it will probably be, I'm guessing 4 to 6 months before we actually have another city manager actually in the chair. And if they're gonna do a nationwide search, I understand, which we have nothing to do with that either, you know, but we are trying to keep everybody at the city familiar with projects. Albertsons, Harry and I had lunch, not just with the developer that had under contract. His contract has expired, his option, he couldn't find anybody to lease the building. He is continuing to try to find people to lease the building. And one of the ladies that owns a home behind the building said that there was someone out there taking pictures of the building the other day, and she went over and asked him who it was, thinking it was hoping it was a grocery store. That's not gonna happen. But it was a church of some, I don't know which one, but that's always the possibility that we're gonna have a church back in. I mean, that's reality. Either that or a dollar store. And that's kind of our options at this point, it looks like. Albertson did put deed restriction on there, no grocery store can go back in there.
And then the little shopping center to the right, there was within entertainment.
Entertainment, yeah.
Yeah, where that H&R Block is?
Well, actually, it was, I don't think it was entertainment, it was, gymnasium, but a gym.
Okay.
Yeah,
One of the two.
it was, so they could put another gym in there. I guess that the original developer must have had a prospect that was gonna put in a gym, he didn't want anyone else in there, but it was still on the deed records. The second page is, Ms. Biddy forgot to mention that she got an award last night at the night before last, no, wait a minute. Thursday night, I'll keep writing it, at the award ceremony for Reader's Choice Award for folks at Daily News, but for best new startup businesses or something. I went to it, Mayor was there to accept the award also. You can see our sales tax collection is down again this month. That's kind of getting to worry me. I'm assuming, well, I shouldn't have said, I don't know what business it is. It wasn't any audits or anything that triggered anything, but that's, and then the scorecard is you're kind of up to date, how different projects are working. And we think we're going to have some requests for incentives probably coming from solar turbines expansion or DIAB. And then you've got the list of new expanding job creation, or give you an update on all those projects. Kohler Company continue to hire new people. So, any questions or comments about anything there?
The sales tax is down in the water district.
Yeah, it was down 2 months ago. Last month was up just a little bit. It was down 0.11% year month before last, and last month it was up about 3.4 or 2.4, what it was. But anyway, that is concerning me. I mean, we've hit some good numbers, and as Tracy, the head of finance, told me, said, but for this is for the calendar year. Controller does it that way. Fiscal year, which starts October, we're actually up. We're I want to say, I think it's at 3.4% for the year. fiscal year. So we're still up, but you know, one of the things that y'all break me on is we have to have at least a 5% increase in sales tax for the year. Maybe we'll have some good months, so.
So the one comment's fine.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions? We will go down to the board or not? Any board announcements? Anything? All right, so we adjourn at 11:20.
Thank you, all appreciate it.
Thank you guys very much.